The morning light spilled across my desk, warm and golden, as if the universe was rewarding me for every late night. I'd spent hunched over spreadsheets and reports. My coffee steamed, my inbox was full of praise from clients, and my project numbers looked strong enough to win me the promotion I'd been dreaming about. Everything seemed perfect, yet beneath that brightness, something felt wrong. A strange weight pressed on my chest, a quiet warning I couldn't name. I brushed it off. Hard work, I told myself, was enough. I walked into the meeting room with my heart pounding fast but proud. My boss, Clara, sat at the head of the table dressed in her usual perfect blazer and pearl earrings. Her smile was sweet, but too sweet, like sugar poured over something rotten. She motioned me to sit down. "You've been doing great," she said, her voice smooth as silk. "The team really depends on you." Her eyes held mine, sharp and unreadable, like she was studying a pawn on a chessboard. I started my presentation with steady hands, flipping through slides I'd worked on until my vision blurred. Every word felt like proof that I belonged here. The team nodded along. Even the executives leaned forward, impressed. For a moment, pride swelled inside me. This was my chance, my future. But then Clara's voice cut in, soft but deliberate. "That's interesting," she said, tapping a finger on the table. "Though, didn't I already present a similar idea last quarter?" The words hit me like a slap. I froze. "No," I said quickly, my throat dry. "This is new. I built it over the last 2 months. You saw my drafts." My voice cracked, too defensive, too desperate. The executives turned their eyes toward Clara. She tilted her head, smiling with gentle doubt, like she pitied my confusion. "Of course, dear. Maybe I'm mixing things up." The room filled with murmurs, not quite believing me, not quite doubting her. When the meeting ended, people clapped politely, but the applause felt thin, forced. I gathered my papers with trembling fingers. Clara placed a hand on my arm as we walked out. "Don't worry," she whispered, her breath warm against my ear. "You'll get better at this. Just stay focused." It sounded like encouragement, but I caught the gleam in her eyes. She was enjoying this. By afternoon, whispers began to circle the office. I passed by the break room and caught my name in hushed tones. "Recycling Clara's work," someone muttered. "That's risky." My stomach twisted. I wanted to scream, but instead I shut myself in the bathroom, gripping the sink until my knuckles whitened. My reflection stared back at me, pale and shaking. Had she planned this? Had she planted that seed of doubt on purpose? I went back to my desk, forcing myself to keep working, but my focus shattered with every email I opened. One subject line froze me in place. Reminder? Clara's innovation proposal. Attached was a document dated 2 months earlier. My idea, almost word for word, only under her name. My chest tightened, fury burning in my veins. She had stolen it before I even finished it, and now she was painting me as the thief. I stormed to her office, my fists clenched. She was on the phone laughing softly, until she noticed me. She hung up with unhurried grace, her smile calm and poisonous. "Something wrong?" she asked, folding her hands. "You stole my work," I snapped. "You took my proposal and put your name on it." My voice shook, but anger gave me strength. Clara leaned back in her chair, tilting her head like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "Careful," she said smoothly. "Accusations like that can ruin a career." My breath hitched. "You know it's true." "I have proof. Drafts. Emails." She raised a hand, cutting me off. "Listen." she said, her tone soft but firm, like she was delivering a warning wrapped as advice. This company doesn't reward fighters. It rewards survivors. You should learn the difference. She stood, moving closer until her perfume filled the air between us. Stay in line, keep your head down, and maybe, one day, you'll have a shot. I stared at her, my throat tight. Her smile never faltered, but her eyes were cold steel. It was a threat dressed as kindness. My proof meant nothing if no one believed me. And she knew it. When I left her office, my legs felt weak, but inside something hardened. The day had begun with me believing hard work was enough. But now I saw the truth. Hard work was nothing without power, without strategy, without teeth. Clara thought she had buried me under her empire of lies. She thought I would stay quiet. As I walked past her glass office, I glanced back. She was watching me, sipping her coffee, though with that same smug smirk. And in that moment, I made a promise. She might have sabotaged me today, but one day I would take everything she built, and I would smile while doing it. The office felt lighter that morning, like someone had opened a window in my chest. Sun poured across the glass walls, and the team laughed as they passed around cupcakes for a birthday. Even Clara's voice sounded soft from her corner office. For a second, I let myself breathe. I wanted to believe the worst was behind me. I wanted to believe her smile meant peace. But when she walked out with her perfect blazer, clapping her hands for attention, the back of my neck prickled. Her praise always had a sharp edge. I could feel it before she even spoke. "Look at our star," she said, touching my shoulder like we were best friends. She's learning to take feedback so well. People clapped. My cheeks burned hot. She didn't say my name. She didn't mention my project. Just that I was learning to take feedback, as if I'd been the problem. I forced a smile and held the cupcake like a shield. Across the room, Evan from Strategy watched me with a careful face. He looked like he wanted to help, but had promised someone he wouldn't. I went back to my desk and opened my inbox. The top email was from Clara, CC'd to 2 executives. "Great job assisting on my vision," it said. "Your edits were helpful." My heart stuttered. I hadn't assisted on her vision. She had taken mine. The attachment was a summary I hadn't seen before. A neat version of my deck with my name removed. I swallowed hard, my mouth dry. I clicked through the slides and felt rage crawl up my spine. She had cut my recommendations and left only the parts that kept power in her hands. I stood up, grabbed my laptop, and walked straight to the IT desk. Noah looked up from his monitor. He always seemed calm even when the building was on fire. "You okay?" he asked. His voice was low, like he knew to keep things quiet around me now. He had a girlfriend in Clara's team. That alone made this feel dangerous. "I need version history," I said. "Access logs." On the shared drive for strategy/quarterly/alpha, he held my gaze for a long second. "You could get in trouble." "So could you," I said. "Please." He shut his screen, then opened a different one. His eyes tracked the lines of text, dates, times. He typed a command and rolled his chair closer to mine so no one could see. 2 a.m. access, he muttered. "Same night you sent me that bug report. Look here." He pointed at a string of letters. "Copy made to a private drive. Owner, Clara Hart." The room tilted. "Can you export it?" He hesitated. I saw the battle in his face. "If anyone asks, you didn't get this from me." "I know." He printed the audit report and slid it into a plain manila folder. Our hands brushed. For one second, everything felt too close. Wrong and right at the same time. His eyes flicked to the door. He pulled back fast. "Be careful," he said. "She plays clean in public and dirty when no one's looking." I left with the folder under my arm and the urge to run. On the way back to my desk, my phone buzzed. It was my mother. I almost let it go to voicemail, but guilt won. "Amy?" I said softly. "I heard you sound tired last night," she said. "You are working too hard. Your niece's school wants the fee by Friday. Don't fight at work. Keep your head down." A lump rose in my throat. I stared at Clara's glass office. She was laughing with someone, her hand on her hip, relaxed like she had never done anything wrong. "I'll handle it," I said. "I promise." "Good girl," my mother said. "We are proud." I hung up and pressed the folder flat on my desk. I tried to breathe. The report was proof. But proof meant nothing if I used it wrong. I needed to be sure. I opened my documents and checked my drafts. One of them was missing. I clicked through folders, searching. Then I found a trash entry with a strange note. "Owner changed." My stomach dropped. There was also a scheduled email in my outbox I didn't remember setting. The subject said, "Product leak." It was set to send at 6 p.m. to a competitor's info address. My hands started, shaking so hard I had to sit down. If that email went out, I was done. Fired. Maybe worse. I ran back to Noah. "There's a scheduled send from my account," I said. "I didn't schedule it." He swore under his breath and pulled me into a side room. "Let me see." He typed fast, jaw tight. "Your sign-in shows a session from your laptop at 10:13 p.m. last night." "I wasn't here at 10. "Then someone used your laptop." He looked up. "Or had remote access. Can you stop it?" He exhaled. "I can change your password and kill the session. But that won't fix the story she's building. If she has screen grabs, emails under your name, then I need a bigger story," I said. "One she can't twist." Before he could answer, my phone lit with a message from Clara. "Coffee." 15 minutes roof. My chest tightened. I nodded at Noah and left, every step echoing. The rooftop was cool and bright. Clara stood by the railing holding 2 cups. "Almond milk, no sugar?" she said. "I pay attention." She handed me a cup, like a mother offering tea after a scolding. "You look stressed." "You scheduled an email from my account," I said. No easing into it. My voice shook, but I kept eye contact. She laughed softly. "That's a serious claim." She leaned on the railing, hair perfect in the wind. "I asked you to accept guidance, and instead you're inventing drama. That makes me sad." "Stop," I said. "I have the access logs. 2 a.m. You copied my deck, you changed ownership, and now you're trying to frame me as a leaker." She took a slow sip and watched me over the rim. "You're talented," she said, "but raw. You think the game is about being right. It's not. It's about who tells the story first." She set the cup down. "I could take you far. I can put your name on good work. I can shield you when you make mistakes." Her smile tightened. "But I can't protect someone who fights me." My fingers dug into the coffee cup until it bent. "You mean you can't control someone who won't bow?" She tilted her head, amused. "I like that fire in you. It will make you valuable one day, if you learn when to turn it off." She stepped closer, a whisper between us. "There is a complaint at HR, with your name on it. Hostile behavior, unprofessional outburst." She shrugged like it bored her. "It can vanish, or it can grow teeth." The air left my lungs. "You filed a complaint about me?" "I protected the team," she said. "You've been unstable." Her eyes softened with fake pity. I don't want to lose you. Stay with me. Let me lead. Take the praise I give you and be smart about it. Something inside me snapped into place. Not rage, clarity. No, I said. Her smile flickered. Think, dear. I am thinking. I'm thinking that if you rely on shadows, you're scared of light. Her eyes cooled like steel dropped in water. Then I'll see you downstairs, she said, picking up her coffee. I hope you bring your best behavior. I walked straight to my desk, opened the folder, and took pictures of the logs with my phone. My heart hammered hard enough to hurt. I opened the scheduled email in my outbox and changed the recipient to our company's legal and compliance group. I added a line at the top. Per discussion with Clara Hart, see attached. I attached the access report and a screen recording Noah had shown me of the ownership change. My finger hovered. Fear crawled up my spine. I thought of my mother. I thought of rent. I thought of every night I had worked until my eyes burned. I hit send. A minute later, meeting invites pinged across the office. Legal, HR Clara, me. My pulse roared in my ears. As I slid my phone into my pocket, Evan stopped at my desk, eyes moving fast. What did you do? He asked, voice low. Something honest, I said. He glanced toward the glass hallway. Clara walked by with two executives, smiling like she always smiled. Calm, kind, deadly. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. For the first time since I'd known her, her face changed. The smile didn't just fade, it cracked. She looked up and found me through the glass. Our eyes met. Her jaw tightened. Then she said to the executives, clear and sweet, "Excuse me for a moment." She turned and walked toward me, heels sharp on the floor, each click a countdown. I stood as she reached my desk. She leaned in, voice soft enough for only me to hear. "You have no idea what you just started." I held her gaze, steady at last. "No," I said. "I just ended it." The room looked friendly that morning. Someone left fresh pastries on the long table. The city sky was clear behind the glass wall. People joked as they opened their laptops, and I tried to laugh with them. I wanted to believe the meeting would be normal. But my chest felt tight, like a seatbelt pulled, one click too far. Clara smiled at me from the doorway, and the smile made the tightness worse. The calendar invite said I would present first, but the printout at each chair told a different story. The agenda had my name moved to the bottom under Q&A. A note in the margin said, "Lead, Clara." I ran my finger over the ink, slow and careful, as if the words would change if I touched them gently. They didn't. Yvonne slid into the seat beside me and kept his voice low. "Be careful," he said. "She's loaded for this." Clara took the head seat like a queen claiming a throne. "Good morning, team," she said, warm and bright. "Let's start with progress." She nodded at me as if I were her favorite student. "Our star will support today. I'll frame the bigger picture, support." I swallowed. My slides were on the screen, but my name had been cut from the title. In the corner, presented by Strategy, sat where my credit had been. She moved through my work like she had built it herself. "You'll see how our new model improves margins by 11%, she said. "I asked for a stronger control in the last round, and I'm happy to share that my direction worked." She clicked to a chart I'd built at 2 a.m. My signature note, the tiny grey tag in the footer, was gone. She didn't even look at me. "Questions so far?" "Who led the data cleanup?" the COO asked. "Cross-functional," Clara said. I guided the priorities. Her eyes finally landed on me, soft and kind. And she learned very fast. The word learn made my face heat. I pushed my chair back. I led the cleanup, I said, keeping my voice even. The method is documented. I submitted it 2 weeks ago. I slid a folder onto the table. Inside was the audit log Noah had printed, showing the 2 a.m. copy to her private drive. Clara's eyes flicked down, then back up, quick as a blade. She smiled like I had handed her a gift. I love your passion, she said. But we don't need to bring technical noise into a leadership review. She turned to the executives. What matters is that we can execute. I've already spoken with HR about support for our junior star here. I want her to succeed. My heart stumbled. Support from HR? I asked. For what? Clara folded her hands. You've been under stress. We all saw the late emails. There were concerns about tone. I asked HR to help you manage workload and communication. She tilted her head, gentle and firm at once. I'm protecting you. This is me caring. Evan's jaw tightened. The COO looked annoyed. Let's not drift, he said. Who has ownership of the timeline? I do, Clara said, crisp now. And there's one more adjustment. For focus reasons, we'll shift. Presentation duties away from our analyst. She'll remain on documentation and internal QA. She clicked ahead to a slide that showed ownership Clara Hart in bold. We need clarity to fly. Something broke inside me. It wasn't loud. It was clean. You said I'd present, I said. You promised. Clara's smile didn't move. I said we'd see how you handle feedback, she said. This is feedback. She turned to the CFO. To prevent risk, I've also requested access changes. Limited edit rights for our analyst until performance improves. She said it like she was offering a safe seat on a plane. Then she looked at me. You're too valuable to burn out. A sharp laugh almost escaped me. I gripped the chair arms to stop it. You limited my access last night, I said. And you used my account to schedule an email to a competitor. I caught it and sent it to legal instead. They have the logs. My voice shook, but the words were clear. You can't fix this with sweet words. The room went still. Evan's eyes widened. 2 directors leaned forward. Clara didn't blink. That's a heavy claim, she said softly. It sounds like you're overwhelmed. She turned to the COO again, calm as a lake. We should move on. I'll handle the personnel piece after. Wait, the CFO said. Legal got something? He looked down at his phone, scrolling. I don't see an alert. It went to compliance, I said. And legal general? Clara stepped toward the screen and clicked. A new slide appeared. Performance support plan, draft. My stomach dropped. She had written a PIP for me. This is not punishment, she said, voice sweet again. This is structure. 30 days. Daily check-ins with me. No external comms without approval, no client calls. Documentation only. The words felt like knives. No calls. No edits. No voice. She wasn't just putting me in a corner. She was cutting my wings. I heard my mother's voice in my head. Keep your head down. Pay the school fee on Friday. I saw the rent due date. I saw my niece's drawing stuck to my fridge. I tasted metal in my mouth and made myself breathe. I won't sign that, I said. You don't need to sign it today, she said kindly. I'll give you time to calm down. Evan leaned forward. With respect, he said careful. Her methodology is the backbone of this plan. If there are access questions, we need to clarify. The logs. Clara turned a soft smile on him. Thank you, Evan, she said. I value your care for the team. Let me protect her. There are details you may not know. The way she said it made his face flush, like he'd been scolded without a word being sharp. She was good. She knew how to make kindness sting. The door opened. HR stepped in with a woman from legal I didn't know. They moved fast but quiet, like they didn't want to spook anyone. The legal woman nodded to the executives. "Apologies for the interruption," she said. "We received some materials related to data ownership. We need 10 minutes with leads after this." Clara's smile didn't break. "Of course," she said. "Happy to cooperate." The legal woman looked at me. "Thank you for the documentation," she said, neutral. She looked back at Clara. "We'll need to collect devices for a standard review." Clara's eyes flashed for the first time. It was small, but I saw it. Then the mask was back. "I'm always transparent," she said. "Whatever you need." She clicked to the last slide. "Next steps," she said, bright again. "We'll move forward as planned. I'll present to the board on Friday. Our analyst will finalize the notes and hand off by the end of day." She looked at me. "I know you'll be professional." My hands shook, but I kept my voice even. "No," I said. "I will not hand over anything under your name that I built." I slid a second folder onto the table. Screen grabs of the scheduled email headers and the 2 a.m. file copy. "And I will not agree to a plan that silences me to cover yours." Clara glanced at the folder without touching it. "You're emotional," she said gently. "I don't blame you, but the board expects results. They don't like drama. If you love this job, you'll let me carry you through this rough patch." "Say thank you," she smiled. "You're welcome." The legal woman's phone buzzed. She checked it, then lifted her head. "New instruction?" she said. "Effective immediately. Do not move forward with any board materials until we complete our review." She looked right at Clara. "Please bring your laptop to the conference room now." Silence hit the table like a dropped book. Clara blinked once, twice. "Sure," she said. "Happy to support." She looked at me then, and the softness was gone. "You should also be ready to surrender your badge if necessary," she added lightly, like we were talking about a parking pass. "Sometimes, during reviews, access is paused." "On who?" the CFO asked. "On anyone under question," she said, sweet again. "We keep the company safe." I stood. My legs felt weak, but my back was straight. "If you pause my access," I said, "my lawyer will ask the court to preserve every log on your drive, including the 2 a.m. copy, including the transfer to your private folder named Board Draft Final." I met her eyes. "We will ask why a final existed before your team saw the work." Evan let out a breath, like he'd been holding it for a year. The COO looked at legal. HR scribbled a note. Clara's smile faltered for a heartbeat. She picked up her laptop with careful hands. As she moved toward the door, she leaned close to me. Breath warm, voice soft enough for only me. "You think you learned the game in a week?" she whispered. "I wrote it." I didn't flinch. "Then why are they taking your laptop?" I said. Her eyes hardened. She turned and walked out, heels sharp on the floor. The door closed behind her with a clean click. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the CFO said, flat and clear, "We pause this rollout." No one touches the deck. My heart pounded. I sat down slowly, hands shaking, and stared at the blank screen where my name used to be. The city lights looked soft from the empty conference room, like the world had calmed down for the night. I sat with my laptop open and a cold cup of tea beside it. The office was quiet, almost kind, but my chest felt hot and tight, like something inside me was burning through a locked door. I tried to breathe slow. It didn't help. The calm outside didn't match the storm in me. That was the first sign that nothing about tonight would be gentle. I replayed the meeting in my head. Every smile Clara used like a blade. Every sweet word with poison under it. Legal had asked for her laptop. The CFO paused the rollout. That should have made me feel safe. It didn't. I watched the reflection of my face in the glass wall, ice red, jaw set, and my fingers curled into fists. Rage kept me awake. Rage kept me brave. My phone buzzed. Amy. I almost let it ring out, then answered. I'm working late, I said, trying to sound steady. You always work late, she said. Eat something. And remember, Friday is the school fee. No drama at work. Please, I close my eyes. I'll handle it, I said. I had no idea how. When she hung up, I put the phone face down and stared at my hands. I did not want to be the girl who begged to keep her job. I did not want to be the story Clara told about emotional staff who need structure. I wanted to be the fire she couldn't step on. I opened the folder of logs again. The 2 a.m. copy. The ownership change. The scheduled email in my name that I had rerouted to legal and compliance. My proof was solid, but proof only mattered if I could tie it to motive. Why would she risk this? Power was one answer. Money was another. I needed to find the money. A soft knock hit the glass. Noah stepped in, hoodie up, a takeout bag in his hand. I brought you food, he said. Don't be mad. You didn't eat, I can't, I said. But my stomach answered with a growl. He set the bag down, and I grabbed a fry with shaky fingers. Salt steadied me. Legal spoke to you? He nodded. They want my logs, my commands, my screen record. I'll give them everything. He paused. Maya asked me if I stayed late with you last week. His girlfriend, Clara's team. The forbidden line between us suddenly felt real, like a door with tape on it. What did you say? The truth, he said, and looked at the floor. I said I was helping a coworker fix a bug. He lifted his eyes. I can't be in the middle more than I already am. But I can tell you something that isn't on a server. He pulled a small printout from his pocket and slid it across. Printer queue report. 4th floor last night. 2 jobs from a guest login at 2:17 a.m. Document name was Split Terms Draft. I felt a jolt. Split terms with who? The queue doesn't say, he said. And I didn't give you this. You found it on your own. He swallowed. Be careful. She makes people choose sides without telling them. That's what they're doing. I nodded and stood up so fast my chair scraped the floor. 4th floor, I said. Come if you want. Or don't. I won't blame you. He didn't move. I'll stay here and watch the security channel, he said. Text me if someone's coming. The 4th floor was dim and cold. I followed the glow of the printer screen. The tray was empty. The recycling bin was full of shredded paper and cups. A cleaner pushed a cart down the hall, humming. I stepped into his path. Hi, I said, trying to sound friendly. Were you here last night? Did anyone pick up prints at this machine? He adjusted his cap and squinted. Lady in a red coat, tall, walked like she owned the floor. Took the prints and left rear, I thought. Clara's assistant wore that red coat like a flag. Thank you, I said, slipping him enough cash for 2 coffees. One more thing. Did you empty her shredder today? He pointed to a small side office with a glass half wall. Bag's there. No one picked it up yet. I stepped inside Ria's space, my heart racing. The shredder bag sagged open. I pulled out a handful of strips and spread them on her desk. My hands shook, but I made myself go slow, strip by strip, edge to edge. I used clear tape. It felt insane. It also felt right. My rage made my fingers steady. Words began to show. Stratamore Analytics, advisory fee, 8%. Deliverable, board presentation, Q4. I swallowed hard and kept going. Then, near the bottom of one page, a name formed in sharp black letters. Signatory, Clara Hart. My breath went out in a rush. Not just a stolen deck. A side deal. She had taken my model and packaged it as advisory work for a fee. She would present to our board on Friday, make it official, and get paid by a competitor for the same plan. She was selling both sides of the bridge and acting like it was noble. Footsteps clicked in the hall. I swept the taped pages into my tote and texted Noah. He replied at once. Security on 2. You have a minute before they do their sweep. Move. I hurried back to the conference room with my heart pounding. Evan stood in the doorway, like a ghost who didn't know where to rest. I need to talk to you, he said. I don't have time. It won't take long. He closed the door and pressed his back against it. His face looked strange, guilty and tired. Clara asked me for your methodology last week, he said. I shared it. I thought it was for the team. I didn't know she would cut you out. He rubbed his eyes. I'm sorry. The apology didn't fix anything, but it shook something loose in me. Why are you here then? Because she's going to push HR to suspend you tomorrow, he said. She wants you quiet while she stabilizes the project. I didn't know about the scheduled email. I swear. But I heard her tell HR you're a risk. He looked at the taped pages peeking from my tote. What is that? Proof she's the risk, I said. A fee agreement with Stratamore. She's getting paid to carry my work into our boardroom. I pulled out a page and let him read the line with her name. His mouth opened and closed. Then he looked at me, like he was seeing me for the first time. What do you want to do? He asked. Put this where she can't kill it. He hesitated. Then he pulled out his phone. I can put you on the 8 a.m. board, pre-brief as an observer, he said. Old calendar permission. It might stick for one invite before IT blocks it. He paused. Do you want it? Yes, I said. My voice was steady now. I want it. He typed fast. The invite pinged my screen. I opened a new email to the board secretary, legal and compliance. I attached the printer report, the 2 a.m. access logs, the screen recording of ownership change, and photos of the reconstructed pages. I wrote a short note. Potential conflict of interest tied to board presentation. Evidence attached. Please preserve all logs. I'm available to discuss at 8 a.m. My finger hovered over the send key. I thought of Ami's call, the school fee, the rent, the rumor that if you cross a queen, you lose your head. Then I pressed send. My phone lit up at once. Unknown number. I answered. Hello. Clara's voice flowed through the line like honey poured slow. You're still at the office, she said. Good. That means I can save you from yourself. Come to my office. Let's fix this quietly. No, I said. We're past quiet. You don't understand how big this is, she said. You'll lose your job. Arbitration will take months. You'll run out of money. Your family. It will hurt them. I can make all of this go away. I can even put your name on the next big thing. Say thank you. Then come to my office. There was that word again. Thank you. Like she was giving me a gift instead of a cage. I looked at the taped pages. Her signature. Her secret fee. Her empire, built with stolen bricks. No, I said again, softer now. Not this time. Her tone sharpened by 1 degree. Listen to me. You think you found something? You found heat without a flame. You don't have the full document. You don't have dates that stick. You have scraps. Scraps burn fast. I have. Enough, I said. And I sent it to people who won't let it burn. Silence held for a long second. Then she laughed, quiet and cold. You are brave, she said, but brave doesn't win. I do. The line clicked dead. I stared at the phone until a new message slid across my screen. Board secretary. Received. See you at 8 a.m. Bring originals. My hands started to shake with something that felt like fear and freedom mixed. Evan let out a breath, like he had been underwater. Noah texted from the hallway camera. Maya just left 4F. Security heading to 3. You're okay? I picked up my tote, slid the taped pages deep inside and zipped it shut. My rage had kept me alive. Now it was doing something better. It was telling the truth out loud. My screen lit again. One more text from Clara. Last chance. Come now. I typed back 3 words and hit send before I could change my mind. Check your email. The city was quiet before sunrise. The office lights were low, the air cool, and the floor under my shoes felt too steady for what I was about to do. I sat alone at the end of a long table with a stack of printouts, my tote bag, and a pen that clicked every time my hand shook. The silence felt wrong, like the calm before a door opens and trouble walks in. I lined up the evidence on the table. Audit logs, the shredder strips I had taped into full pages, the printer Q report, photos on my phone of the split terms draft. Every page made my pulse throb in my neck. I told myself to breathe. This was not about anger anymore. This was about control. If I wanted to fly out of this cage, I needed a plan, not just rage. I drew a timeline on a legal pad. 2 a.m. file copy. Ownership change. My scheduled email to a competitor. Clara's laptop request from legal. Stratamore advisory fee at 8%. I circled the fee with a heavy line. People do not risk everything without a reason. Money was the reason. But I still needed one more link that no one could talk around. I texted Evan. Do you have access to vendor approvals? He replied after a minute. I shouldn't. I wrote back. I need to prove a payment route tied to Clara. He called me. If I pull anything from finance, I'll be the one they investigate next, he said, voice low. But I can tell you who to ask for the list. He gave me a name, Priya, the CFO's analyst, and a risk warning. If you involve her, she'll be dragged into this. Think before you do it, I did think. About my mother's voice asking for peace. About my niece's school fee due on Friday. About the way Clara smiled when she said thank you, like a command. I put Priya's name in my notebook and underlined it twice, then crossed it out. I would not pull someone else into my fire unless I had to. My phone buzzed with a new message from Clara. 7:30 coffee? We can leave legal out of this. I can fix your access and clean your file. Be smart. I stared at the blue bubble until the words blurred. Then I turned the phone over face down on the table. The silence in the room stretched long and hard. Noah slipped in with a key card and dropped into the chair across from me. Security is making another pass at 5, he said. You have a window now. He pushed a printed form toward me. I filed a legal hold on her folders. You needed authority. Your email chain with the board secretary gave me enough to flag it. His eyes searched my face. You sure you want to go until the end? Yes, I said. My voice was steady. I'm done being careful for her. He nodded and opened his laptop. There's something else, he said. We caught a deletion job queued on the server for 5:10 a.m. It would have cleared temp caches and draft folders in her private share. Legal hold stopped it, but only because it ran after I filed it. He checked the time. 10 minutes more, and we would have lost whatever she thought was safe to burn. My stomach turned. You saved it? We preserved the queue entry and the script, he said. We have the who and the when. He looked tired and wired at the same time. Don't ask me to go further. I'm at the edge. You already did more than anyone, I said. Saying it made my chest hurt. I wanted to reach for his hand and didn't. He had a girlfriend who wore Clara's colours and sat on Clara's floor. That was my line. I kept my hands flat on the table. He closed his laptop. There's one more thing I can tell you without breaking rules, he said. Calendar sync shows a private hold on Clara's morning. Same block every week. She labels it wellness. Location changes. Today it says Ember Hotel, Lounge, 7:15 to 7:50. My mind snapped to the taped page, Stratamore. If she's meeting them before the board pre-brief, she's feeding them our plan, I said. Or getting her cut. Or both, he said. I grabbed my tote and stuffed the evidence inside. I'm going, I said. Don't, he said fast. If she sees you, she will turn this into harassment. She'll say you're stalking her. She's smart. She'll twist it. Then I'll be smarter, I said. I won't let her see me. He pressed his lips together and then nodded once. Text me when you get there, he said. I'll watch the cameras here. If HR moves on your badge, I'll warn you. Outside, the air bit my cheeks awake. The city was shaking off sleep. I took a rideshare to Ember Hotel and sat in the lobby with a tea I didn't drink. The lounge smelled like citrus and leather. A wall of mirrors behind the bar made it easy to watch without staring. At 7:18, Clara walked in wearing quiet heels and a pale coat that looked soft and expensive. Rhea followed a step behind, red coat gleaming. A man in a navy suit stood from a corner booth. He had the smooth face of someone who billed by the hour. Stratamore. I tilted my phone and opened the voice memo app. I set the phone on the table, camera face down, mic toward the room. My heart beat loud enough to feel in my throat. They ordered. They laughed. The first minutes were small talk. Then the man leaned in. The board accepts external validation better when it arrives with their own slides, he said. You'll deliver it as yours, but we'll refresh language to match our report. Clara's smile was warm. Of course, she said. We'll call it alignment. I'll make it sound like I'm protecting them from risk, she sipped. I need the fee split to clear by Friday. Same account as last time, he asked. Rhea slid a folder across the table. Clara tapped the folder and lowered her voice one notch. Use Hart and Rowe Partners, she said. Memo it as wellness advisory. 8% wellness. The calendar word. My hands went cold. I kept my face neutral and stared at my tea like it held my future. The man nodded. And your analyst? He asked. She is not a problem? She believes in justice, Clara said lightly. That makes her predictable. I'll have her on a plan by noon. She laughed, soft and kind. I'll send flowers to her mother if I have to. Heat flashed through me so fast my fingers trembled. I clenched my hands under the table until the shake stopped. My phone buzzed. A text from Noah. HR drafting access pause. Legal wants you at 8 sharp. Board chair added. Come back. I ended the recording, saved it twice, and sent the file to my personal email. Then to the board secretary with a short note. Audio from Ember Hotel, 7:22 to 7:28 a.m., Reefy split and wellness advisory. I stood, grabbed my tote, and turned toward the door. I made it 3 steps before Rhea glanced up and saw me in the mirror. Her eyes widened, then smoothed. She leaned to whisper in Clara's ear. Clara's head turned a fraction. Our eyes met in the mirror. Her smile did not break. It changed, tightened, like a bow pulled back. She stood and walked toward me as if we were 2 friends meeting for breakfast. You're early, she said, voice sweet. I was about to call you. Let's go to the office together. No, I said. We're done meeting in private. Her lips curved. You don't know what you've done, she murmured. You recorded a client. You could lose everything. I recorded you, I said. And I didn't hide why. She stepped closer, close enough for her perfume to make the room feel smaller. I will pay your niece's school for the year, she whispered. I will put your name on the next deck. I will fix your title. Delete the audio and say thank you. The word thank hit like a slap. I held her gaze. The fear in my stomach dropped away. Check your email, I said. The man's phone lit up on the table behind her. The board secretary's message pinged mine at the same time. Received. Chair notified. Bring originals. I watched Clara read the subject line on his screen over her shoulder. For the first time since I'd known her. Her face didn't just flicker. It opened. The mask fell for 1 raw second. She smiled again, fast and cold. Then you better run, she said softly. Because I'm coming. The office looked calm that morning, like a stage before the lights turn hot. The blinds were half open. The printer hummed. Someone said a bowl of mints by the door. Small things felt normal, but my stomach said they were not. I could feel a storm forming in the quiet. I told myself not to shake. I told myself to breathe and use what I had learned. If Clara fought with sweet words and clean smiles, I would learn to use the same. I started with the story. I wrote an email to HR and legal with a soft tone, the way she did. Thank you for the wellness support, I typed. To keep things safe, I'd like all guidance captured in writing with compliance present. I attached the audio file from the hotel and a short transcript. I did not accuse. I did not yell. I wrote, for alignment, here is what I heard this morning regarding a fee memo labeled Wellness Advisory. Please advise. I hit send and sat up straighter. Her weapon was the story told first. Now it was mine. I needed one more. Link. Proof that Hart and Rowe partners led back to her. I did not have finance access, but I had curiosity and policy. I opened the vendor policy and read the part about due diligence. It listed the public registry the company used to check owners. No passwords needed. I searched the registry on my phone with slow, careful fingers. Hart and Rowe Partners, LLC. Officers, Clara Hart and Rhea Rowe. Registered agent, a mailbox 1 block from our office. My hands tingled. I took screenshots. Then I printed the page and slid it into a clear sleeve like it was glass. Evan stopped at my desk, eyes moving fast. Board pre-brief in 10, he said. You're on the list as observer. Clara will try to kick you. I'll be polite, I said. And loud, only when needed. He hesitated. She asked me to draft a note calling you unstable, he said, voice low. I started it. I won't send it. I did not let him off easy. You did start it, I said. So now you will fix it. I handed him 2 lines from the transcript. If they ask who said this, you will tell them the truth. He nodded, shame and resolve fighting on his face. I will. Noah met me at the glass hallway. He handed me a thin envelope. Legal hold confirmation, he said. If anyone tells you to hand over your phone without counsel, you show this. He looked tired. And your badge may get paused. Have a plan if the elevators hate you. Thank you, I said. My throat felt thick. For everything. He tried to smile. Just don't get fired in front of me, he said. I have a very low tolerance for that. We walked into the pre-brief together. The room was bright and cold. The board secretary sat with a neat stack of folders. The CFO and COO took the far side. The company lawyer who had come yesterday looked calm and alert. Clara stood at the head of the table with that soft half-smile that felt like a silk rope. Ria sat to her right with a notebook and a pen that clicked in a sharp rhythm. Click! 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 Clara spread her hands. Before we begin, she said, I want to thank everyone for moving fast. We have a lot to celebrate. Her eyes landed on me like a hand on my cheek. And we have growth moments to support. Our analyst is here to observe and learn. Good morning, the board secretary said. We received an audio file and documents from the analyst this morning. We will address them first. Clara did not look at the secretary. She looked at me. The smile did not move, but her eyes cooled. We should be careful, she said. We don't want to reward drama. The company lawyer folded her hands. We don't reward or punish, she said. We investigate. That's how we keep the company safe. The secretary turned to me. Walk us through the attachments. I kept my voice even. At 7:22 a.m., at Ember Hotel, Miss Hart met with a representative from Stratamore Analytics. On the recording, she said, use Hart and Rowe partners. Memo it as wellness advisory. 8%. I placed the registry printout on the table. The public record shows Hart and Rowe Partners is owned by Miss Hart and Miss Rowe. I slid the clear sleeve toward the counsel and secretary. This would create a conflict if the board plan is also routed through Stratamore. It appears to be both, Clara laughed softly. This is sweet, she said, turning to the board. She is young. She doesn't understand how vendor alignment works. Hart and Rowe is a mentorship vehicle. No money has moved. Wellness is a coaching program for our staff. Stratamore is a peer. We meet to make sure we speak one language. I always protect the company. She looked at me with pity that burned. I can see why you're confused. The lawyer checked the registry printout. The description on the filing says Management Advisory Services, she said. Not coaching? Ria leaned forward, kind and helpful. We can correct the filing, she said. It's a clerical issue. The CFO's jaw set. Why was this not disclosed? He asked. Clara gave him a warm look. Because nothing has happened, she said. This meeting was to explore wellness support for our team. The 8% remark is out of context. Play it, the secretary said. I pressed the clip. Clara's voice filled the room. Calm, low, sure. Use Hart and Rowe partners. Memo it as wellness advisory. 8%. Evan cleared his throat. He stared at his hands, then at the CFO. She told me last week to share our analyst's method, he said, voice steady now. I did. I believed it was for the team. I was wrong. He lifted his eyes. I'm not proud of that. But I won't lie today. Clara gave him a soft smile like she was proud of a child who confessed. Brave, she said. You see what I cultivate in my people? Honesty. Let's address the other piece, the lawyer said. The scheduled email. The 2 a.m. copy. I passed the audit log across the table. This shows a copy of my draft to Miss. Hart's private drive at 2:04 a.m., I said. And a scheduled email from my account to a competitor at 6 p.m., which I rerouted to compliance. IT preserved the deletion job that would have cleared her drafts at 5:10 a.m. Clara tilted her head, eyes soft. She needs rest, she said to the board, gentle and grave. This is what overwork does. She saw things in shadows and made a story. I asked HR to help her. I am the only one here caring about her career. The secretary looked at HR's director, who had slipped in behind us. Status on the plan you proposed? HR shifted. It is paused, she said. Per council. Clara did not even turn. It was for her good, she said, still kind. I mentor the ones with fire. I keep them from burning out. That is my fault, I guess. Caring too much. That line would have worked yesterday. Not today. I breathed in and used her trick. Polite words with a blade behind them. Then you'll be happy we put guardrails on your caring, I said. I filed a protected report last night. Case number is in legal's email. Any action against me now will read as retaliation. I smiled the way she smiled. Small, even sharp. You taught me that the order of things matters. Ria's pen stopped clicking. The room felt tight, like the air had less space. The CFO looked at the registry again. Hart and Rowe, he said slowly. Miss, Rowe, is that you? Ria's throat moved. It is, she said, voice almost steady. It was a side project. Not active. The lawyer was done being gentle. Board counsel recommends an immediate freeze, she said. No board materials move forward. Devices collected. External comms halted. We will retain a third-party firm. Clara's smile thinned, but she kept it. Freezes make us look guilty, she said sweetly. Let me present. Then investigate me all you want. I have nothing to hide. The COO leaned forward. You have plenty to hide, he said flat. And you are now dismissed from this meeting. Clara turned to him with soft eyes. Be careful, she said mother-sweet. We don't want to lose a growth engine because a young analyst is overwhelmed. I stood. My hands didn't shake anymore. I was overwhelmed, I said, by how much I had to learn. So I learned it. I learned that praise can be a cage, that wellness can be a code, that the first story wins. I learned to say thank you like a knife. I slid one last page across the table, a forwarded receipt from the registry, showing a change request submitted at 7:56 a.m., right after my email. Trying to alter Hart and Rowe's description to coaching. Requested by Ria.rowe at ... The lawyer glanced at it, then at Ria. Thank you, she said. That will do. Clara picked up her laptop with slow hands. She took one step, then stopped at my chair. Her perfume made the air warm. You think this is over, she whispered. But you don't know how deep my roots go. I met her eyes. I do, I said, quiet and sure. They end at the mailbox down the street. She held my gaze for one heartbeat, then left the room without a word. The door closed behind her. Silence pressed against my skin. Then the secretary spoke, clear and final. The board has heard enough. Proceed with the freeze. I sat down, breath shaking, but my spine straight. For the first time, I felt what power in my hands could be. Cold, careful, and clean. I looked at the empty doorway where she had stood and repeated her favorite line in my head. Not as a command, but as a lesson I had stolen and sharpened for myself. Thank you. The office felt calm, almost kind, the morning after the freeze. Sunlight fell in clean lines across the carpet. The coffee machine hissed. People spoke in low voices, careful and polite. It should have eased me. It didn't. The quiet felt false, like a smile that hides teeth. Clara's door stayed shut. Her glass office looked empty, but I knew she was somewhere close, pulling strings I couldn't see yet. I put my tote on my desk and laid out the pieces I had. Audio from the hotel, the registry printout for Hart and Rowe, the audit logs with the 2 a.m. copy, the deletion script Noah saved. My hands still shook, but the shake had a job now. I wrote one word on a sticky note and stuck it to the top page. Leverage. Clara built power by using small true things to control big rooms. I would do the same. I would not scream. I would move one brick and let the wall lean. My phone buzzed. Amy, I answered with a tight voice. I'm okay. You don't sound okay, she said. I made paradise. Come by, tomorrow. And beta, Friday fee. I know, I said. I'm fixing it. Don't let anger ruin your name, she said softly. Win, but don't lose yourself. I ended the call and stared at the glass wall again. I thought about names on doors and names on accounts. Names can be chains. Names can also be keys. Evan slid a sealed envelope onto my desk. Board council asked for originals at noon, he said. He looked tired. She called me last night. She wanted me to say you're unstable. He swallowed. I told her no. She warned me I'll regret choosing you. You will regret staying with her, I said. You already do. His mouth twitched like he agreed, but didn't want to say it. There's something else, he said. Priya from finance pinged me. She said a draft PO hit the queue yesterday for a wellness advisory pilot. Vendor unknown. It got pulled before approval. She couldn't see the owner. She thinks it's tied to a cost center Clara opened last month. My chest tightened. Pilot means money. Now, excuses later, Priya won't send you anything. She's scared, he said. But she left a copy on the 4th floor printer by mistake. If you find it, you didn't hear that from me. I grabbed my badge and headed for the stairs. My feet took the steps fast. The 4th floor was quiet and cold. I walked to the printer and opened the side tray. One sheet lay face down, half hanging. I slid it free and felt heat spill through me as I read. Purchase order. Wellness advisory. Pilot. Q4 readiness. Vendor, Hart and Rowe Partners, LLC. Deposit, $80,000. Approver, C. Hart, pending. Requester, R. Rowe. I took a photo, folded the page and slipped it into my sleeve. On the way back up, my phone buzzed again. A message from Clara. We can still fix this. Meet me in my office with your evidence. I'll explain what you don't understand. I put my phone in my pocket and kept walking. Noah was waiting near my desk, eyes alert. 2 things, he said, straight to the point. First, your badge is still active, but HR flagged it. If they pause access, I'll text. Second, server shows an email drafted from Ria's account to finance, subject pilot deposit schedule. It never sent. It's in her drafts. Can you pull it? I asked. He shook his head. Not without crossing a line. But I can tell you the exact subject and time, so if it appears, you can say you saw it. He paused. I'm at my limit. You've done enough, I said. I meant it. It hurt to mean it. I wanted to take his hand, and didn't. Lines saved us now. We needed to survive past today. I took the PO to a small meeting room and called Ria. She didn't answer. I texted, I have a photo of a PO with your name. We should talk before you carry this for her. Conference room. B. 5 minutes. I didn't expect her to come. She came. She walked in with her red coat on her arm and a hard set to her mouth. She closed the door and crossed her arms. You think you've won, she said. You haven't. She will outlast you. I don't need to win today, I said. I need the truth to be bigger than her story. I slid the folded PO across the table. You requested this. Ria's face didn't move, but her throat did. It's not approved, she said. It will be if you push it, I said. Then the money moves. And when this blows up, she will say you did it alone. Your name is on Heart and Row. Your name is on the request. Your name is on the calendar, holds labeled wellness. You'll be the fall. Her chin lifted. She wouldn't do that. She sent flowers to my mother and tried to take my badge the same day, I said. She will do anything that keeps her clean. Ria looked at the glass, not at me. I have loans, she said. My father is sick. She said she would help. She said I'd be part of something big. She made you a partner in a mailbox, I said. And a shield. I pushed a new page toward her, the registry printout with her name and Clara's under Heart and Row. Board council will ask why your coaching company is taking 8% on a plan for our board while sitting in our office. I kept my voice gentle, the way Clara always did. Tell them first. Make it yours. Ask for whistleblower protection and counsel, or she will hand you to them with a bow. Ria's eyes shone, and she blinked fast like she hated that I saw it. She always told me I was the only one who could keep up, she said. She said I was her right hand. Right hands get cut to save the body, I said. You know that. You've seen it. I leaned in. Help me. Not for me. For you. Ria stared at the PO. Her fingers tapped the table the way her pen clicked. Click, click, click. Then she let out a breath like she'd been holding it for years. What do you need? A line, I said. Something in writing from her that makes the fee and the pilot connect. An instruction, a text. A note on an invoice. Anything with dates. Ria looked at her phone like it might bite her. She doesn't write things down. She does, I said. And then she deletes them. Today, she's too busy. Ria unlocked her phone. Her hands trembled. She messages me from a Gmail for personal. The subject line always starts with wellness, so I can find it fast. She searched. Her eyes widened. She sent one an hour ago. She held the phone so I could see. Wellness. Run the Heart and Row pilot deposit before noon. Keep the memo soft. Thank the sky. My heart slammed against my ribs. Forward it, I said. To board counsel and legal. CC yourself. Don't delete the original. Ria's thumb hovered. She'll know I did it. She'll know either way, I said. Only one way keeps you safe. Ria hit send. It was a small sound. It felt like a building shifting. 5 minutes later, calendar alerts rolled across the floor like quiet thunder. Emergency review, the invite said. CFO, COO, legal, board secretary, Clara, me, Ria. The room filled with heavy faces. Clara walked in last. Soft smile, calm eyes. She nodded at me like we were two grown women handling a silly mess. Let's make this easy, she said. The board secretary lifted a printout. We received a forwarded email from Miss Rowe, she said. Subject wellness. Ms. Hart, did you instruct a pilot deposit to Heart and Row this morning? Clara's smile held. No, she said. That is not my account. Ria's voice shook, but she stood straight. It is, she said. You told me to use it so finance wouldn't mix it with your work email. You said it was clean. Clara didn't turn to her. She looked at the lawyer. This is a misunderstanding. The lawyer placed the printed PO beside the forwarded message. This is not, she said. The memo line and subject match. The timing matches. The vendor is owned by you, and your assistant Clara's voice stayed sweet. But the edge was bare now. If my name is there, it's because I was guiding a wellness program for our staff. Our analyst keeps twisting my care into crimes. The CFO picked up the papers with careful hands. Effective now, he said. All payments to Hart and Rowe are frozen. Bank notified. Miss Hart, surrender your badge. Clara didn't move. Her eyes found mine. Her mouth curved, but the warmth didn't reach her face. You think this is a brick, she said quietly. It's dust. I stood. My legs were steady. I slid one last page onto the table. The original POI pulled from the printer with a blue pen note at the top, a neat loop I knew by heart. Run this before noon. See, Clara's eyes flicked down and back up. The room seemed to lean towards her. For the first time, the smile left her face and didn't return. Badge, the CFO said again. Clara unclipped it and set it on the table like it weighed nothing. She turned toward the door. As she passed me, she paused. Breath warm, voice soft. You will not hold what you took, she whispered. Walls don't fall that easy. I met her eyes and kept my voice low. I don't need the wall to fall, I said. I only needed to lean while I pulled the next brick. She stared at me for one long beat, then walked out. The door closed. The room exhaled. Rhea sat down hard and covered her face. Evan pressed his palm flat on the table like he was steadying himself. Noah texted. Badge paused. You're safe. For now. I looked at the empty doorway and felt the shape of power settle into my hands. It wasn't loud. It was exact. It was one page, one email. One small true thing that couldn't be spun. The first brick was out. The wall had moved. The office looked calm that morning, like a picture hung straight on a crooked wall. The blinds were open. The carpet was clean. The espresso machine hissed like a sleepy cat. It should have soothed me. It didn't. My chest felt tight and awake, like a hand was pressing there. I fixed my collar in the elevator and caught my reflection. I didn't look scared anymore. I looked ready, and that felt dangerous. When the doors opened, Evan was waiting with 2 coffees and a warning in his eyes. Pre-brief at 9, he said. Clara's allowed to attend as fact witness. She doesn't have a badge, but she has her smile. Good, I said, taking the cup. I brought mine. He almost smiled. Legal asked if you'll walk through the audio again, he said. They want clean words, no heat. I can do calm, I said. I learned from the best. Noah texted. Bank confirmed freeze on HRP account. Also, finance found a monthly retainer to Stratamore coded as employee wellness. It's in review. I felt the message, like a small door opening inside me. Money leaves footprints. Clara loved clean floors. Today the prints would show. I walked past her glass office. It was empty, but not quiet. A white orchid on her desk leaned toward the sun like it wanted a different owner. I stopped, then kept moving. I didn't need to stare at her old throne. I needed to be early. In the pre-brief room, the board secretary stacked folders by color. The company lawyer set out a small recorder. HR sat stiff with a legal pad. The CFO and COO came in together. Rhea slipped along the wall and took a seat near the door. Redcoat folded on her lap, like armor she couldn't wear right now. Clara arrived last in a soft grey dress and a softer voice. Thank you for the care you're showing the company, she said, like she was the host of a charity event. I'm here to help you move fast. The lawyer nodded at me. Let's start with what you sent, she said. I spoke slow and clear. At 7:22 a.m. yesterday at Ember Hotel, Miss Hart met with a representative from Strathmore. On the audio, she told him, use Hart and Rowe Partners. Memo it as Wellness Advisory. 8%. Public records show Hart and Rowe is owned by Miss Hart and Miss Rowe. Clara smiled at me like I had recited a poem in class. And thank you for your diligence, she said. This sounds serious to new ears. It is normal to align vendors. Wellness was a working name. Nothing moved. The CFO's phone buzzed. He read a message and lifted his head. Bank confirms an attempted deposit request this morning, he said. It was stopped by our freeze. Memo line. Wellness Advisory. Pilot Rhea's fingers tightened on her coat. She didn't look at Clara. She looked at the table. Clara kept her smile. We are mixing terms, she said. I explore programs. My team drafts. Some things go nowhere. This is one. The lawyer placed a printout in front of her. This is your email to Miss Rowe, she said. Sent yesterday. Run the Hart and Rowe pilot deposit before noon. Keep the memo soft. Thank the sky. For a second, the room had no air. Clara's lashes lowered. When she lifted her eyes again, they were warm and steady. It's a coaching pilot, she said. My language is playful. I mentor. I protect the company from burnout. You protect yourself, I said before I could stop. I kept my tone even. You didn't want the memo to say advisory or Strathmore. You wanted it soft so no one asked hard questions. The lawyer didn't scold me for speaking. She looked at Clara. We'll take devices after this, she said. Phones too. The freeze stays. Clara turned toward me fully then, like we were the only two in the room. You have worked hard, she said. So kind, it made my skin sting. You're clever. You're brave. But you don't understand weight. You don't understand what fails when leaders step back and let fear run the table. You're building a career on other people's names. That will feel empty when the room is yours. I felt my hands tremble and put them flat on the table. I'm not building on names, I said. I'm building on facts. On what you said. On what you signed. Rhea spoke, voice thin but true. She told me to label things wellness so finance would process them under HR instead of strategy, she said. She said it was cleaner. Clara didn't look at her. She kept her eyes on me. There is a reason I choose who I lift, she said, voice soft. Some people can carry power without shaking. Others break and throw pieces at the walls. Evan swallowed. She asked me to write that I thought you were unstable, he said, eyes on me now. I didn't. I won't. Clara's smile curved at him with pity. You confuse loyalty with love, she said. It makes you weak. The lawyer raised a hand. We're not here to talk about feelings, she said. We're here to protect the company. We have enough to retain an external firm. In the meantime, this program needs a lead who is not under review. The room shifted. I felt it like a floor moving under my shoes. The COO turned to me. You built the model, he said. You understand the plan. Are you willing to take point under council oversight until this is sorted? I kept my face still. My heart was not still. Yes, I said. With the team that actually did the work. And everything in writing, Clara laughed softly. It didn't sound kind anymore. She isn't ready, she said, sweet again. You will burn her out in a week. Then we'll install fire doors, the CFO said. It's interim. Clara's smile returned, smaller now. She reached for pity like a tool. This is not caring, she told them. This is a fear reaction. You will regret letting a child steer, I met her eyes. I lowered my voice the way she always did when she wanted a word to land. Thank you, I said. Her eyebrows lifted a tiny inch. Thank you for all the lessons, I said. I learned that the first story wins. I learned to keep my hands clean and my logs cleaner. I learned to smile while I moved the room. I leaned in. Look at me, Clara. She did. For 1 second, she really looked. She saw her own tactics sitting in my face. Polite, sharp, patient. She saw herself, without the perfume. The secretary slid a brief letter across the table. This formalizes interim lead, she said. Scope, limits, council review. Miss Hart, you remain a witness. Clara kept her gaze on me. Her mouth shaped a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Be careful, she said softly. If you become me, you will hate what you see. I won't, I said, because I'll remember who I'm protecting. Your family? She asked, voice sweet and low. The work, I said. The people who did it. My name can wait. The lawyer stood. We're done here, she said. Devices now. Miss Hart, conference room A. Clara rose. She smoothed her dress like a queen fixing her crown in a wind she didn't expect. She walked toward the door, then paused beside me. You think this is the top? She said. Breath warm, almost kind. It's a ledge. Watch your step. I didn't look up. You train me to balance, I said. She left without another word. The door closed. Rhea sagged in her chair and covered her face with her hands for a second, then sat up and swallowed hard. Evan let out a breath he'd been holding for days. HR started a list. The secretary handed me a thin folder. We'll pair you with counsel and a project manager, she said. Pick your team. Keep records. No hero moves. I nodded. I'll keep it boring, I said. My voice was calm. My blood was loud. In the hallway, I passed a wall of glass and caught my reflection again. I looked the same, and not the same. I didn't see a scared analyst. I saw someone holding a blade she didn't have to swing. She only had to show it. My phone buzzed. Amy, I answered. I'm okay, I said before she could ask. Eat, she said. And don't forget the fee. I won't, I said. It's handled. I hung up and turned back toward the floor. Clara waited by the elevators with a security escort and a calm face. When the doors opened, she didn't step in. She stepped closer to me, just enough so only I could hear. You're not special, she said softly. You're a mirror. Mirror's crick. I held her gaze. Not this one, I said. The elevator doors slid shut between us. The glass caught her face for one last second. For the first time since I met her, I watched doubt pass across it like a shadow she couldn't smooth away. That was the moment she saw herself in my eyes, and knew I wasn't the girl she could press down anymore. I walked back to the room where my team was waiting, and felt the shape of a new thing settle into place. Power. Not loud, not pretty. Mine. The building felt too neat that morning, like someone had polished a crime scene. The glass walls shone. The orchids in reception sat tall and white. People spoke in low voices, careful and kind. It should have calmed me. It didn't. The quiet felt heavy, like a door was about to close on someone. I fixed my collar in the elevator and told my hands not to shake. I could feel the moment coming. I was ready. Evan met me by the conference room with 2 coffees and a worried look. Final review in 15, he said. Clara's allowed as a witness. She doesn't have her badge, but she has a folder. Good, I said, taking the cup. I brought mine too. My phone buzzed. Noah. Bank flagged 2 more attempts tied to Hart and Row at 6:41 a.m. and 7:03 a.m. Blocked by freeze. Also, third-party firm is on site. He added a second text. Be careful. She's charming security. I walked past Clara's glass office. It was empty. Her chair was turned to the window, like it was waiting for her to sit and rule. Again. I didn't stop. I pushed the door to pre-brief and took the far seat. The board secretary stacked color tabs. The company lawyer set a small recorder in the middle. The CFO and COO sat together, faces tight. HR sat with a legal pad already open. Rhea slipped in and took the chair near the door, red coat folded small in her lap. Clara arrived last. Soft grey dress. Soft voice. Thank you for moving fast, she said, like she was the one keeping us safe. She put her folder on the table and gave me a smile that looked like mercy. I'm here to help. The lawyer nodded at me first. Walk us through any new items. I kept my voice steady. Finance found 2 more blocked attempts to fund Hart and Row this morning. We have the freeze confirmation. Also, Strathmore's retainer was coded as employee wellness for 3 months. I sent the ledger lines last night. I slid a thin packet forward. There's also a PO draft recovered from the 4th floor printer. Deposit 80,000. Approver C. Hart. Requester R. Row. Clara didn't look at the papers. She looked at me. You're doing a lot of work to misunderstand me, she said, warm. Wellness is coaching. I mentor. I protect the company. The CFO's phone buzzed. He read and lifted his head. Strathmore's general counsel just sent a letter, he said. They will cooperate. They attached a draft agreement for an 8% fee paid to Hart and Row in exchange for alignment support ahead of our board meeting. He looked at Clara. It carries your digital signature. Clara's smile did not break. Anyone can paste a name on a PDF, she said. This is theatre. We are being played by people who don't know how our work gets done. Rhea's hands tightened on the red coat. You asked me to print that draft, she said, voice small but clear. You told me to mark it wellness so finance would process it under HR. You said strategy gets flagged. Clara did not turn. She kept her eyes on me and stayed kind. She is frightened, she told the room, gentle as a mother. She thinks fear is truth. I don't blame her. I asked HR to help both of them. The lawyer pressed a button on the recorder. My audio from the hotel filled the room. Clara's voice low and sure. Use Hart and Row partners. Memo it as wellness advisory. 8%. Silence settled tight. The COO leaned forward. Miss Hart, he said. Did you discuss a fee with Strathmore through a company you own? Clara folded her hands. I explored options to protect this team from burnout and stabilize a critical delivery. I used words that made sense to my people. If someone else read them wrong, that is on me. I care too much. I let myself breathe once. Then I used her trick, the one I had learned in the quiet. I smiled. Small, even. Clara, I said, calm. Do you remember telling me that the first story wins? That if you speak first and smile, the room will follow. Her eyes cooled. You're clever, she said. But clever is not heavy. You don't know the weight of what you're playing with. The company lawyer slid a fresh page across the table. Third-party firm imaged your phone upon arrival, she said. They recovered a deleted text thread from your personal Gmail. Run the HRP pilot deposit before noon. Keep the memo soft, thank the sky. Timestamp matches the blocked attempt. That is not coaching. The smile on Clara's face thinned. It stayed, but it thinned. I write in metaphors, she said softly. I inspire. The board will miss that when I'm gone. Evan cleared his throat. She told me to write a note saying our analyst is unstable, he said. I started it. I didn't send it. He faced the CFO. I gave legal the draft and the Slack message where she asked. Clara turned to him with soft pity. You were never built for pressure, she said. I told you to breathe, and you chose to choke. HR shifted in her chair. We also have a complaint you filed about the analyst 2 days ago, she said to Clara. You asked for a plan that removed her from clients and gave you all edit rights. You cited tone and late emails. That now reads as retaliation. Clara's voice stayed velvet. Or it reads as management, she said. Which I was doing while others slept. The CFO stacked the papers in front of him like stones. We have the registry showing you as owner of Hart and Rowe, he said. We have the bank freeze. We have a draft agreement with your signature. We have a recorded meeting. We have an attempted deposit. We have a deleted text recovered. None of that is wellness. I felt heat rise in my chest and pressed my palms flat on the table. I want to be very clear, I said, looking at the board, not at her. This plan was built by a team. It can move without tricks. I want to lead it with everything in writing, with counsel on every step, and with names where names belong. The secretary slid a short letter across the table toward me. Interim lead authority is extended, she said. Council oversight remains. You will present to the board next week. Miss Hart, you remain suspended pending the outcome. Your access stays paused. Clara laughed softly. It wasn't warm anymore. You think a letter makes a throne, she said, sweet again but sharper. You think a freeze makes a crown? Dear Hart, you're building a house out of paper. It will be ash. By Friday I kept my smile. Then bring water, I said. But not from Hart and Rowe. The lawyer stood. We are moving to the next part, she said. Devices. Security stepped into the doorway. 2 people in navy jackets. Not loud, present. Clara looked at them and then back at me. For the first time, the smile did not match her eyes. She picked up her folder. A single sheet slid free and floated to the table. Evan reached and turned it around. It was a side letter. Stratamore letterhead. Upon successful board alignment, it read, Hart and Rowe partners will receive an 8% advisory fee wired to account ending 9132. At the bottom, 2 signatures, one said C. Hart. The other said J. Lam, Stratamore. The COO spoke first. For course, he said to the CFO. For course, the CFO said back flat. The board secretary lifted her pen. The record will show. Termination for cause. Effective immediately, she said. HR to process. Council to notify regulator. Clara didn't blink. She set her folder down and looked at me as if the rest of the room had left. You learned fast, she said, voice soft and level. You learned to smile while you cut. I held her gaze. I learned to smile while I tell the truth, I said. She stepped closer, close enough that I could smell her perfume. You will hate this feeling when they turn it on you, she whispered. Power is loyal to no one. I know, I said. That's why I keep records. The security guard took a small step forward. Clara lifted her chin like a queen walking down a broken stair. She unclipped her visitor badge and placed it next to the letter that ended her story here. Then she looked back at me one last time. "You're not a leader," she said, soft and sure. "You're a mirror." Mirrors crack. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't lean in. I only kept my smile steady, the way she had taught me. "Then look," I said. For a breath, she did. She looked straight into my eyes and saw every trick she had used looking back at her, stripped down and clean. Not sweet, not cruel, just true. Something in her face shifted. Not big. Enough. Security moved with quiet hands. The door opened. The door closed. The room exhaled like a held breath let go. Rhea covered her mouth and cried once, sharp and small, then wiped her face and sat up straight. Evan pressed his palm to the table as if steadying the world. Noah texted, "It's done." The board secretary pushed a final form toward me. "Your slot is set for next week," she said. "You'll need a new title for the deck." I nodded. "I have one," I said. "What is it?" she asked. I looked at the glass where her office used to shine. I felt the smile settle, calm and sure. "The plan," I said, "by the people who built it." Outside, the orchid on her desk leaned toward the light. Inside, her throne was empty. It didn't fall with a crash. It didn't need to. It collapsed beneath a smile she taught me to wear, and I kept. The office felt bright that morning, like the world had been scrubbed clean. The windows were clear. The hall smelled like new paper. People spoke in quiet voices and smiled too long. It should have felt safe. It didn't. My stomach was tight, the way it gets before bad news comes dressed in good clothes. I fixed my collar and told myself to breathe. Evan met me by the kitchen with 2 coffees and a face that warned me to be careful. "Final review at 10, he said. "Council, CFO, COO, board secretary. Clara asked to join by video. They said no." He lowered his voice. "There's a draft press note. It calls this a misunderstanding about wellness vendors. Your name isn't in it." I felt heat rise to my face. "Let me see it." He slid me a printout. The words were smooth and empty. I took a pen and drew a line through the soft parts. "No," I said. "We are not bearing this with gentle air. We are putting names where names belong." I looked up at him. "We do this once. We do it right." My phone buzzed. "Noah. Heads up. Found an invention disclosure filed by Seahart 2 weeks ago. Claims authorship of your model, draft only. Legal hold caught it. I'm sending the file ID to council." My heart kicked hard. She had tried to own even my math. I texted back, "Got it. Thank you." He replied with one more line. "Be ready. She will try one last time." HR pinged me and asked me to meet in a side room to discuss transition. The word made my chest tighten. I walked in with my tote and my notebook. The HR director smiled like a doctor offering a shot. "We want a clean path," she said. "No drama. No media. Are you open to a non-disparagement agreement?" "I am open to truth," I said. "And to credit. And to safety for the team." I laid down my list. 1. Public correction, naming the team and removing her. 2. Written authorship for the core method. 3. Ban on Hart and Rowe and anything linked to it. 4. The money Stratamore tried to send moves into a real wellness fund that reports to legal. 5. Either I lead the plan with council oversight, or the company hires my team as an independent vendor to finish it. Either way, no gag orders. HR blinked. "You came prepared," she said. "Yes," I said. She taught me. The CFO and company lawyer joined. The lawyer put a folder on the table. "Third-party firm recovered the deleted Gmail threads," she said. They matched the audio. Bank confirmed 2 more blocked attempts this morning. Strathmore's counsel wants a mutual resolution. She looked at me. Tell me your flaw. I read the list again. And one more, I added. Rhea gets whistleblower protection. No black marks. She cooperated. The CFO nodded slowly. We can work with this, he said. But leadership prefers you stay on as interim lead. Stability matters. Then give me guards, I said. Counsel on every step. Records. Write names on the deck. Promotions for the people who did the work. I don't need a crown. I need clean lines. My phone lit up with a private number. I let it go once. It rang again. I stepped into the hall and answered. Clara's voice came soft, like a lullaby done wrong. You can still win, she said. Take the offer. Keep your head down. Let them call it misunderstanding. I will say nice things about you. I will make sure you are safe. Be smart. You tried to own my work, I said. You tried to push money through a mailbox and bury me under your story. My voice shook once. I held it steady. No. She sighed in my ear like she was tired of raising a child. You think the board loves you? She said. They love quiet. They love clean. You are neither. She paused. I will make calls. I will make sure you never get hired again. I already got hired, I said, and hung up. Back in the room, the company lawyer placed the invention disclosure on the table. This is the draft Ms. Hart filed, she said. It copies your method with minor edits. She slid me a pen. We will file a correction. You and the team go down as authors. She is removed. I signed with a hand that shook and did not stop. Evan watched, relief and shame crossing his face. He had been part of her circle. He was here now. After this, he said, I am done hiding. I believed him. The final reviews started on time. The board secretary stacked folders by colour. The CFO and COO sat together, eyes hard. The lawyer hit record. I kept my voice even as I walked through the data, the plan, the risks. I named the people who cleaned the dataset, the ones who built the model, the ones who tested it. I kept my hands open on the table. I used simple words. I felt calm for the first time in weeks. Halfway through, the board secretary stopped me. We have an alternative, she said. Finish this as a vendor. Independent. 1-year contract. You name the team. Council supervisors. The company keeps the IP, but your authorship is permanent. There's a bonus for delivery. I stared at her. You want me to step out and lead from outside? It protects everyone, the lawyer said. It protects you most of all. I thought of the fake wellness memo, the PIP, the scheduled email meant to ruin me, the smile that hid a knife. I thought of my mother counting cash at the kitchen table, worried about a school fee. I thought of the team waiting for a clean path. Yes, I said. We do that. But the press note changes, it will, the CFO said. We will name you and the team. We will name the vendor Ban. We will say the truth. We signed the term sheet. It was light and heavy at the same time. When I stepped into the hallway, my hands shook so hard I had to lean on the wall. My phone vibrated again. Ami, I answered. It's done, I said. We're okay. Eat, she said, and then go pay the school. I will, I said, and I meant it. By noon, the press note went live. It named the real authors. It banned Hart and Rowe. It said Strathmore would refund any fees and cooperate with the review. It said the plan would be led by an independent team, comprised of the people who built it. The hallway filled with quiet messages. Thank you. Proud of you. About time. Are you hiring? I smiled, small and real, and kept moving. Ria found me by the elevators. She held out her phone. They froze my access, she said, voice steady, but eyes bright. But legal gave me a number to call if I need help. Thank you, she hesitated. I should hate you for pulling me into this. I don't... You climbed out, I said. You did that. Evan walked up, hands in his pockets. If you're building a team, he said, I want in. No games. Just work. Bring your receipts, I said. We're building clean. Noah sent one last text. Hart and Rowe refund hit company account. Memo line says, wellness return. Council wants you to chair a real wellness fund now. Irony level. Hi. I laughed out loud in the empty corridor. It felt good. It felt earned. At 3, they gathered the floor for an all-hands. The CFO spoke with a calm voice and direct eyes. He named what happened. He named what would change. He named the people who had kept the company safe. When he said my name, the room clapped, not loud, but honest. I nodded once and kept my face steady. I was done shaking for her. Afterward, I walked to my desk. The orchid in Clara's old office leaned toward the light. I opened my drawer and took out my badge. I ran my thumb along the edge. Then I slid it into an envelope and sealed it. Evan watched from the hall. You sure? He asked. I am, I said. I'll be back on Monday. As a vendor, people turned as I walked to the front desk. HR saw the envelope and stood. You don't have to do that yet, she said. I want to, I said. I like clean lines. I set the badge down. Keep my chair warm. I'll earn it, not keep it outside. The air felt lighter. The street was loud in a normal way. I took out my phone and paid my niece's school fee while standing on the sidewalk. My hand steadied as the payment confirmed. Army sent a heart. I sent one back and took a deep breath that didn't hurt. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I answered. Clara's voice slid into my ear like a blade wrapped in silk. Enjoy your little win, she said. You will find out how hard it is to hold power without me. I already held it, I said. You just didn't notice. You're not a leader, she said. You're a mirror. Mirrors crack. I'm a builder, I said. And I just signed the contract to finish the work you tried to hide. I kept my tone calm. You tried to bury me under the plan. I walk away owning it. She was quiet for one long beat. Then she hung up. I looked up at the building one last time. The glass looked the same as it did in the morning. It wasn't. The throne inside was empty. The plan had a new name on it. Mine, and the names of the people who earned it. I turned toward the street and started walking. The city sounded like it always does. Traffic and voices and small lives doing big things. I felt the weight in my hands shift from fear to work not loud, not pretty, mine.